Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome in right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you for the next 2 hours, getting you ready for all things Week 5, breaking down Thursday Night Football, and going through those tough start-sit decisions. Because, Adam, we know by the week that we've had and all the injuries we've had to talk about, we're all going to be going through it this week. How are you doing? How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm trying to stay optimistic and positive here because these are going to be some disgusting lineups that we put out there this week.
But we all have to do it, so it's okay. So it's all going to be gross, and same with your opponents probably, and that's what we're here for. I've already seen a ton of start-sit questions come in because, like you said, Adam, I mean, it's going to be brutal, and I do think, send in any question you have because there are going to be some weird ones today for sure. So at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X, that's where you can send them. We'll open up the phone lines later closer to the water cooler, but yeah, it's going to get uncomfortable, Adam, and you just hope that some of your guys that you put in there, that you just a hope and a prayer, and you just say, hey, let's go. Because the people that maybe started Kendrick Bourne last night, maybe they said, hey, nothing might happen here, but at least I'm going to try. Walks away with 24.2 fantasy points. We're hoping that Jake Tungus, or the name that I'm not unsure how to say, he was still walking away with 17.1. That game last night did not end how I thought it was going to end. So you have San Francisco and Mac Jones holding off the Los Angeles Rams in overtime. Ooh, that was close. That was a good one. Wow. It's early. 26-23. I'm going to be honest, Adam, too. Just a side note, I lost power right at the start of that game. So I missed,
the Rams did too.
Well, yeah, no kidding. Well, I had to go back and I was like, there's no way that this is. I went back to watch everything and I was like, wow, this is not how I thought it would go. But yeah, Mac Jones comes out there battling through. It looked like a little bit of a knee injury and then obviously some arm cramps, but he threw for 342, 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne, 10 for 142. Man, and I think now they're sitting alone at the top of the division. So there you go.
Yeah, a huge win for the 49ers and a real disappointing one for the Rams. I mean, they were just very sloppy in this game. You give the 49ers credit because they did whatever they wanted. They got no pressure on Mac Jones. He was able to slice and dice that defense. He was only sacked one time, and he did it with basically all backups outside of Christian McCaffrey, who, again, got a ton of touches in this one, 30 touches on a short week. So, look, If you have him right now, you are really happy. You're hoping he can hold up the whole way. He's still not doing much on the ground, but who cares? He had 22 carries, only 57 yards, went under his prop on 22 carries.
Crazy.
But in the passing game, 8 for 82 and a touchdown. And as you mentioned, all the guys who filled in. And look, there were scenarios where you could have realistically started those guys this week.
Oh, yeah.
I had Kendrick Bourne. Yeah. I had Kendrick Bourne and Demarcus Robinson on my list of players to pick up. They were towards the bottom, so I didn't get them. I got the other preferred options. Obviously, would have probably been better off getting Kendrick Bourne. But, yeah, 10 for 142 and 11 targets. And we talked about him yesterday, how he had a good rapport with Mac Jones, and he was stepping into a big role. Demarcus Robinson didn't have the huge game. I did play his player prop. Thank goodness he cashed 3 for 39. And Tonjes, again, 7 for 41 and a touchdown if you needed to dig deep and go there. So they all came through, and then if you did stream Mac Jones as well, I can't imagine many did, but 342 and 2 passing touchdowns, and has looked good whenever he's been asked to fill in, and he could be there again next week. It looks like Brock Purdy will probably be out again. But we did get good news. It looks like George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall and potentially Jawan Jennings could be back next week, so that would be a good sign if we get those guys back. But the 49ers, just a huge performance. And the Rams just were really sloppy in this game. I mean, I cannot believe that 4th and 1 call in overtime. I have no problem going for it. I was
shaking my head.
It was the right call to go for it. But Matthew Stafford was just lighting them up. How do you not put the ball in his hands to get it to Puka or Devontae Adams or someone? But you're going to let Kyron Williams run the ball when he wasn't great most of the night. He fumbled that goal line fumble too. Are you kidding? I get it.
You could see that it was.
I get it was a great play, the punch by the 49ers defender, but you got to have 2 hands on the ball when you're running towards the goal line for that reason. So, yeah, I mean, Devontae Adams came through. If you used him, Puka, of course, again, although this is kind of a down game for Puka. That's how great he's been. It's
Which is
crazy.
He
only had 10 for 85 and a touchdown.
24.5 fantasy points. And we're like, he's had better days, but whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was a wild game. And again, just a lot of mistakes by the Rams. The fumbles. They credited the fumble on the pitch to Blake Corum to Stafford on that. But we didn't see much Blake Corum after that.
I was going to say he was because when I went back, it felt like that was the turning point, too, where they just kind of put it in Stafford's hands as well. And then obviously went to Kyren most of the way there. And you could tell that goal line fumble was just something you saw them panning to him on the bench, and he was just head in his hands, just shaking his head. You couldn't believe it. And then, that play call at the end, I also couldn't believe it. I said, wow, that's really the way that they want to go. Because I agree with you. You knew that they were going to go for it. But to have that play call come down to that was just, it shook your head. But again, Kyren Williams got you fantasy points with those 14 carries, 65 yards, and then finished with 8 receptions, 65 yards as well, and you got the touchdowns there, so 31.1 fantasy points. But Blake Corum, that was bad. You didn't see him the rest of the time after that.
And his role was beginning to grow as well. We were seeing him a little bit more, and you figured too on a short week that maybe he would get more touches. So there probably were people in desperate situations who flexed them. I had him on a roster, and I was thinking about it, and I just ultimately said, nah, I'm not going to do it. Thank goodness. But I'm sure there probably were some people that needed to do that. But, yeah, he played 6 snaps.
Brutal.
6. So, look, and as bad as Kyren Williams was from a NFL perspective with the fumble, he still came through in fantasy, 8 catches for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, and Stafford, we mentioned he was a good streamer this week, and 389, 3 touchdowns. He made some amazing throws.
He looked really good. Yeah, he really did look really good.
He didn't get pressured. We talked about it yesterday. Without Nick Bosa, the 49ers generate no pass rush. And if you're going to give Stafford that much time to throw, he's going to carve you up, and he did.
And I mean, they had more injuries in this game, by the way. Their defensive line is just going down. They might call you. They might call me. I don't know what's going to happen there, but they already went through all those injuries, and now they're going to be going into this next week probably with more. But yeah, the Rams leaned all the way into Matthew Stafford. And I thought that was good too, Adam, because you thought to yourself, okay, after coming off the career best game in yardage as a Ram, maybe what are they going to do? What are they going to look like going into this game? Because we know that not only these Thursday night games, they're big, quick turnarounds, and then you add in that these two teams know each other very well. So you really obviously liked what you saw from Matthew Stafford, finishing with those 47 attempts versus, I think it was just 14 called runs. I mean, it was his game there. So you were happy if you streamed him, and he came through.
Yeah, except in the key spot of the game, they did not put the ball in his hands.
Hey, we're talking about fantasy football, not real and life NFL. No, that was crazy. I couldn't believe that they did that. I really couldn't. Well, Sean McVay also said after the game that he regretted that call as well.
Oh, really? I'm surprised. Yeah. As if we couldn't have told you before. Everyone knew it. I don't run it here.
I know, especially after what Kyren. Did you see them pan to Kyren Williams on the sideline? I mean, he just looked. I felt so bad. I really did feel bad. I was like, oh man, he's going to be thinking about that one for a long time. Yeah, he said the quote was, "My final play call was poor. I'm sick that I put our players in that spot."
I mean, we could have. We all could have told you that.
Learn. Listen, you live and you learn.
Look, if Stafford throws an incompletion or something, I'll live with it. I'll be like, all right, it was the right call. I mean, you go for it there. Don't play for a tie. Just go for it. It's 4th and 1. Your offense was moving the ball basically the entire night, especially in the second half. So, do what you can to get it to Puka.
I think we went through Mac Jones, but 33 of 49, 342. Nope. Two touchdowns as well. You're not going to get me there. But he was banged up in this game a little bit as well, but still obviously went out there, was dealing with the knee injury. So they've got a long week to recover. I think though, if you still have Brock Purdy, because you said this earlier and I saw the reports, I actually put it down, I think in the water cooler, but Ian Rappaport reported before this game, reported that the toe injury is considered week to week since he suffered that setback in week 4. So they said it's not considered a major re-injury, but the 49ers are looking at it like his week 6 availability is already in question. So now that you know that, if you're a Brock Purdy manager, you just know obviously you had to pick someone up for this week, so you hold on to them going forward.
Yeah, and Mac Jones, obviously, I mean, he is in the conversation for Superflex leagues if he was dropped. So he's played very well, and he could get back the full complement of receivers this week as well. So
and they're going up against Tampa on the road.
Yeah, and Tampa, you want to pass on them. It's really tough to run on them. So it'll probably be another game where McCaffrey stays under 60 yards, but piles it up in the passing game.
Yep. Anything else from this game? I was so mad. The power cut out. I mean, right after the first drive, and I was looking around saying, no way. But yeah, it was a good game still.
Yeah, well, so how much did you miss?
Oh, the whole middle. I had to go back this morning. And I was rewatching it.
The Rams were so bad in the first half.
It was bad. Oh,
they
my
were
goodness.
brutal. It looked like they didn't show up, and the 49ers were dominating, and at least they got back in the game. But yeah, the Rams cost a lot of people last night.
Oh,
I'm sure
I was going to say.
A lot of people probably had them in parlays on the money line and Survivor,
or just even
too.
Survivor.
I did. I used them in one of my 3 entries.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I feel like
it did make sense. I mean, you could say I couldn't believe the Thursday night game, but they were at home. San Francisco was really shorthanded. I tend to stay away from those divisional games, but
I'm surprised you went there because you usually don't.
But I just, when I looked at everything across the schedule, I'm like, the Rams don't lose this game. How are they going to lose this game? And, they did. So here we go. That's
good morning.
One of those, I'm pretty sure they probably had to be a popular pick this week, too.
Oh, they had to have been. I'm curious to see how many people did pick them, and especially in some of those, some of those bigger ones, too. So good game nonetheless. We got fantasy points. You got fantasy. Everyone got fantasy points. Kyren Williams, CMC, Stafford, Puka, Kendrick Bourne, Mac Jones, Jake, Devontae. Yeah, it was a good outing for a lot of those guys. So that's what we care about here. So we'll see what the week 6 looks like coming up here for Brock Purdy, but just pay attention to that. Got a little bit of news this morning as well, and I haven't seen. So it looks like Bucky Irving, who we expected to be out this week. Some of the reports coming in is that Bucky Irving is expected to miss Sunday's game. They hadn't officially ruled him out. They called him, I've seen multiple things. They've called him day to day. Some people have said week to week, but according to reports, Jeremy Fowler did this one this morning. He is expected to miss Sunday's game. So we've talked about the ramifications of that, who steps up here in this offense. We know it's Rachaad White taking on a big role probably this week. Sean Tucker, I think flex option. I think we have to talk about him as a flex option, right, Adam? Because, I don't know what this is going to look like. We've seen Rachaad White in in this kind of bigger role before, but I've seen some questions on what Sean Tucker could do in this one. But yeah, if you have Bucky Irving, hopefully you already made plans to start someone else.
Oh yeah, I made plans. They're not good ones, but I made plans. But you made them. They did say too that Fowler did say Bucky's in danger of missing next week too. So
yeah, I've seen weird reports that it was day to day, and then I think it became week to week.
Come on, we already knew that he was sitting this week. I mean, he was on crutches in a boot on Wednesday. You're not playing that week.
Maybe he just had the fire in his eyes. He said, "I want to get out there." I'm kidding. Rachaad White, we can start there and expectations for him, because obviously if you have him, we never want injuries, but with this next man up mentality, that he's stepping up. He's, he's going to be the lead back. It's the role that we've seen him have before in this offense. 2023, he had 299 carries, 69 catches, scored 10 touchdowns there as well. Not to say that it goes all the way back to that, but even if he shares carries with Sean Tucker, there is a path, I think, to RB2 production. That's where I have him. That's where I'm going to rank him this week going into it. So he is definitely, if you have him, very startable.
Yeah, I think in most instances, if you have him, you're starting him, especially in this type of week. We did see last year, I guess it was Rachaad White was out, and it was Bucky and Tucker against the Saints. They put up 51, and they ran the ball 35 times, but that's what people remember from Tucker. He had 14 carries, 136 yards, and a touchdown. Bucky Irving in that game had 14 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. So, it could be a split, but Rachaad White, we know how good he is in the passing game. Maybe Tucker's more of the goal line back. I know. So, Tucker, I mean, there probably will be some situations where you start him.
Have to.
Yeah, I know I might in a league. I did pick him up, and I am really hurting with bye weeks and injuries, so I might be forced to start him, which is why I didn't start Blake Corum. I'm like, you know what? Let me just leave the door open because Tucker might be a better option. But yeah, Rachaad White is the preferred one, but I could see in deeper formats, Tucker might be someone that you get in there too.
Yeah, it's just I might be in a spot where I have to start him too. I might just close my eyes because I will say for the Seahawks, and to the Seahawks credit, that's a tough defense that you're going up against too. So I'm not saying that it's going to be beautiful and amazing, even with Rachaad White. Like that's going to actually be a battle.
It's going to be the passing game that he has to get
It will be
done.
in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that defense has allowed 3.3 yards per carry, which is the fourth lowest in the NFL, and then 0 rushing touchdowns. Shout out to the Seahawks, but
such a homer.
I am 1,000%. Okay. Yes. Look at my hat today. We got to go Mariners. But I will say for you mentioned, in the passing game, they've also they've given like the most catches and receiving yards to running backs is what they've given up on the other side. So you said it. It's going to be through the air.
One of them was boosted by McCaffrey, who had 9 for 73.
That still counts.
Yeah, Warren had 4 for 86.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamara had 1 for 14, but he doesn't catch the ball anymore. So
it's not his role.
They gave up seven catches last week to the Arizona running backs.
That's what I'm like. You're right. It's going to be through the air.
Yeah, it's not for Rachaad White, he's going to have to catch 5-6 passes. I'm having a really hard time ranking Sean Tucker because of all that. Because it's not going to be on the ground. They're going to be really tough. So Sean Tucker, I have right now 43, RB 43. I don't know. I might change that. But we knew this one was coming down for Bucky Irving, so time to get uncomfortable. Start not Rachaad White, but maybe a little Sean Tucker there. Chuba Hubbard expected to miss week 5 as well. Saw that one yesterday. So the Panthers are going to be set without running back Chuba Hubbard. He wasn't practicing much at all this week is what I was kind of watching and paying attention to, but looks like he's going to be out. That means Rico Dowdle's coming in for the Panthers, and he will obviously take on a larger role out of the lineup. I think I'm not going as far as to say Trevor Etienne, DJ Dallas, but those are the other running backs on that Carolina roster. So, yeah, Chuba Hubbard out for this one. Yeah, because last week he was dealing with a little bit of a calf issue, missed some practice time, was able to go, but then there was a comment from Canales, I think it was 2 days ago, saying, yeah, he's worse off than he was the previous week, and that he missed practice yesterday and Wednesday, so you knew this was coming. So, yeah, Rico Dowdle's the guy that you can throw in there, and who knows how much time Hubbard's going to miss with this. So, yeah, just another running back injury.
Just another one. It's fine. You know what? I thought I had a lot more. I thought I had a lot more Chuba Hubbard when I went to look at some of my lineups, but I don't. I have a lot of Rico Dowdle in guillotine leagues, which is scary.
It's actually good for this week.
Well, yeah, this week. Hello, I've been starting him every other week, though.
It's a calf injury. You might not see Hubbard for a couple weeks here, especially since he already had it, played with it. I mean, he could have made it worse. So this could be multiple weeks. I have only one Hubbard in redraft, so
brutal. But they're taking on the Miami Dolphins, so we pick on them a little bit. So if you have Rico Dowdle, you're looking at that saying, all right, I can get a starter out of this. And then last one before we continue on here, Terry McLaurin out for week 5. This was also one that we probably expected because of how they reported that quad injury. But Dan Graziano reported yesterday that McLaurin, the quote was, could need another week or 2 before returning. So you're just looking at this. If you had Terry McLaurin last week, we said, hey, just hold on to anyone that you were able to get to replace him. It's going to be big for Deebo Samuel. And then I wrote up Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane in the waiver wire report. Again, this is really deep formats if you're getting a little bit desperate there. But you did see Luke McCaffrey at least with a little bit of work last week.
We have to make sure that Deebo plays, too. I think he will. He was on the flight, but he didn't practice the last 2 days with a heel injury. But he is on the flight, so that's a good indication. But as we've seen, you could get out there, warm up, and be like, it's not feeling well. So at least it's not the 9:30 a.m. game. So we will have that in advance. True. But yeah, look, I was hoping we'd see McCaffrey play more snaps. I know he's had a couple of touchdowns, but he hasn't been on the field a lot. But maybe we see more from him. So again, this is a week where you're digging deep. So everybody's on the table this week.
Exactly. Don't look at Luke McCaffrey and say, "Ugh, no, I can't go that far," because you might have to go that far this week. But it's a good call on Deebo Samuel with that DNP. I think he's on the wrong side of questionable, to be totally honest. We don't like DNPs on Thursdays.
No, but at least he made the flight. Right, they already ruled McLaurin and Noah Brown out, but Deebo did make the flight. So my guess is he probably plays.
I hope so, because I really, I really need him. So let's just hope that he plays. We're going to continue on. We're going through start sits, guys that we're starting, guys that we're looking at maybe sitting because of these potential matchups, because they have risen or fallen in our rankings. We're going through that. Some of your questions as well coming up next. Oh, it is a Friday. The vibes, Adam, we're making sure that the vibes are good. They might not be, but hey, we're here talking through it, going through a lot of your questions as well, going through rankings, risers, and fallers. Shout out to Doug. He told us and sent us a screenshot, over 900 entries for the Rams in that game last night, and they are obviously out of that. So that's a lot.
It is. I'm not surprised. I figured they'd be one of the top selections this week, and that's just a terrible way to start your week if you were in Survivor and you lost on the Rams on Thursday night.
Absolutely brutal, but that's okay. Your weekend's still going to be good. You get to watch the Mariners tomorrow. Everything's going to be great, and we're here to help you out. Again, at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I see some questions coming in, so appreciate everyone. Let's go through some of these, start-sit questions from us, the rankings, risers, and fallers, and then we'll get to some of those questions. So I kind of want to start with Tony Pollard and your thoughts on him going into the week, because we know that Tyjae Spears is eligible to come off IR this week. Dwayne McFarland said he's projecting that to happen. So if you go to our projections and anything with the start sit tool presented by Xfinity, you'll see that Tyjae Spears is in there. So Pollard, to me, I have him ranked right now as an RB3. And I don't know if I want to say he should be on your bench if possible, but he ranks 30th in points per game, sitting at 10.4, but he ranks number one in snap share at 89%. That's the crazier part here, Adam. He has been very disappointing for when we knew that Tyjae Spears was going to miss time. We said, okay, Tony Pollard's going to get that work. So this offense is just odd. What are your expectations for him this week?
Again, this is a situation where unless you're in a shallow league, I don't see how you're sitting him. And we don't know if Spears is going to be back yet either. So you want to see that. And even if he does, what's his workload going to be? It's not really Pollard, it's this offense. I mean, their offensive line, we expected to be better. They've been bad. Cam Ward hasn't been good. It's just been a disaster across the board for this offense. So it's hurting Pollard. The other thing with Pollard is he's not involved in the passing game. That was what you would hope more. The touches are there. He's averaging 18.5 touches per game. Anytime you have a running back getting that much work, especially in a week like this, it's really hard to sit him. But yeah, they're not moving the ball. He only has 6 touches in the red zone. So a lot of it is on the offense. I think it's not the worst matchup. So, yeah, he's probably outside the top 24 running backs this week. But if you have him, do you really have better options?
Maybe not. I've got him at RB 25. That's where I have him this week. So,
the guys below are probably the Arizona running backs and then backup running backs and the Charbonnets of the world. So that's the issue.
Yeah. I mean, I've got him ahead of, Ramondre Stevenson, like you said, Charbonnet, Henderson, RJ Harvey, all those guys. So yeah, that's where you're at. But it is, we'll just have to wait and see. I've seen some questions on Tyjae Spears, but you're right. We can project that maybe he's going to come back, but we have to wait until the team tells us. But there is a possibility that he is back. What about, speaking of those Seahawks running backs, where are you at with both of them? I will say Kenneth Walker here. He was a slight faller in our rankings this week. He had a slight lead over Charbonnet in week 4, 52% snap share, 58% attempt share. But Charbonnet stole, the high leverage snaps that we've talked about. So between both of them, you saw Charbonnet, though, last week, 63% of the short yardage plays and 100% of the 2-minute offense. So I haven't faded necessarily Kenneth Walker going into this weekend. But again, I do have him, right in front of guys like Tony Pollard. It's brutal.
Yeah, look, if you have Walker, you're playing him. It's frustrating, and it's probably going to be that way the rest of the year until we see a change. We did see Walker, lead the way last week in snap rate, 51.6%, but that's still not what you want out of a guy that you drafted likely in round 4. And Charbonnet's getting some of those red zone carries more often. We know Walker's the better back. You can watch the game, you can see he's the more explosive back. It is also a tough matchup here against Tampa. I expect Seattle they're not going to completely abandon the run. They're going to try and run, but it is a tough matchup here against Tampa. So if I have both, I'm playing Walker.
Yeah, it's again, you said it. You can't look at Kenneth Walker and fade necessarily. That's going to be a solid option for you going into this weekend. But you just have to know that it's going to be the Charbonnet is going to be the side and his thorn. Kenneth Walker is going to be the thorn and Charbonnet side, all of that other stuff. So one to look at when you look at our rankings. This is an interesting one. Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason in this matchup going up. It's the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Cleveland Browns. This is another international game. We've talked about the Cleveland Browns side a lot because of, Dylan Gabriel coming in. But on this side, I mean, I've seen Jordan Mason going up against the Browns could be a matchup to avoid. Again, we say that we don't know what your full lineups look like, so be careful. But it is one where he's given you, when he's had to fill in for these games without Aaron Jones, he's got, 33. Really? For that too? I thought it was just for Mac.
No.
Oh, it's for anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good thing you told me that because I was going to say, look, you learn something new every day. You made me lose my spot. It's 33.8 fantasy points in those games, 14th best among running backs. And he's played 62% of the offensive snaps. He's had 35 touches so far. But this Browns defense, we've talked about them a lot. They have been a tough matchup for running backs so far. So again, it's going to be tough to sit them, especially in a week where you have teams on bye. You've got running backs that are injured. But just know that this is, they've limited. You saw Josh Jacobs, 12.4 fantasy points. Gibbs, Montgomery combined 18.9.
Well, Gibbs was good. So
yes,
he's an elite back though. So I'm not surprised. He had 91 rushing yards, but Chase Brown had 21 for 43. Derrick Henry had 21 yards. Jacobs 16 for 30. So yeah, against Cleveland, you know your running backs are in big trouble. They can hopefully get it done in the passing game. That's what Jacobs did. He had 5 for 44. Gibbs only had 2 for 6. That was a little surprising. Mm-hmm. But yeah, with Jordan Mason, look, you're going to start him. I have him in a few leagues. I'm starting him. But you know that this is going to be a really tough spot. And what you hope is, the volume is going to be there. This should be a low-scoring game. They stay competitive. So we saw, Xavier Scott come in pass mode late in the game last week. So if it stays competitive, Mason's going to get 15 to 20 touches in this game. What you have to hope is that he can either break one for 20, 25 yards, which, again, has really not happened against this team. I think they've allowed two carries over 9 yards this year.
That's crazy.
You cannot run on this team. You hope that Mason can find the end zone, that they somehow move the ball, they get inside the 5, and he's able to pick up a few yards to get into the end zone. But, yeah, this is the worst ranking you'll see for Jordan Mason in a game without Aaron Jones going up against Cleveland. It's just they have just really shut down running backs. Like I benched David Montgomery last week against them.
Yeah, that was a good call too. What,
yeah,
1.3 fantasy points or something?
It wasn't easy because, people see what Montgomery did the previous week when he had like 152 and 2 touchdowns. Like, I can't bet a guy like that. Against Cleveland, yeah. Gibbs, no way. There was no chance. Like, you're playing your elite backs against Cleveland, but you just have to lower the expectations with how dominant they've been.
I've got a few start sit questions here. Fantasy at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over on X, and then fantasylife.com is where you can go check out the fantasy football start sit tool. So that is powered by Xfinity. We've got all of our projections in there, the Xfinity best score, which I like to look at. Tell yourself a nice story that they are going to get the best score that Xfinity has them there for. So let's start off with Chris over here. So Chris said Jordan Mason or Xavier Worthy in the flex full point PPR. You're going Xavier Worthy in that situation, and you're kind of excited about it.
Yeah, I wish I kind of had those options, but yeah, Worthy looked good coming off that injury. Also got some carries in there as well. So yeah, I think it's Worthy in this spot. I think
you have to be excited about. He had a dominant performance, 24% target share, 57% of the air yard share, and then 17.1 fantasy points. So I like that one a lot. So Chris, we would go with Xavier Worthy on that one. 1 point PPR flex, J.K. Dobbins or David Montgomery. David Montgomery does have a really nice matchup this week, though.
Yeah, ooh, that's
a good one.
That is a good one.
I'm jealous of most of these when they send them in. I
don't know.
I would go Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm actually fine. I think it's close. Dobbins is at Philly. He's looked good, though, too, and he continues to get volume. The only issue with Montgomery is the split, but the Bengals have been terrible. Second most rushing yards allowed through 4 weeks. So maybe this is a game, too, that they give Montgomery a little bit more here.
It's definitely, I will say it's definitely close for who sent this in. But I'm going with Montgomery in this one. Our weekly projections, 11.3 fantasy points compared to 10.7. Xfinity best score, 26.4, 24.4.
Yeah, looking through everything now, I'm convinced it's Montgomery.
Here's one. Jacory, Croskey-Merritt, Bill, or TreVeyon Henderson, full point PPR.
I think it's got to be Bill at this point. It's tough, though. I mean, Henderson
you don't
is
like
still,
what you've seen, though.
Yeah, and Henderson's still not getting enough. He's still making mistakes, too, So, I mean, this is a game, though, they should be trailing. Do they put him in a little bit more to get his explosiveness against the Bills?
That's one thing I'm looking at is him getting some passing work.
Yeah, I think I would go TreVeyon.
But you don't love it.
I mean, because both have questions. They both are not involved enough right now.
No, I know. That's why it's gross. That three-way committee, though, for the Washington Commanders. Now, if Deebo is out...
It's kind of the same for New England, though. We're seeing a lot of Antonio Gibson, too.
But if Deebo is out for this game for the Commanders, does that change your mind to go more Bill? If you have really tough lineups? Yeah. They have to go somewhere with it, right? I don't think Jalen Lane would be getting, or, Luke McCaffrey, like you said. But
they're going to have to use McCaffrey more. I mean, if Deebo's out, then I like McCaffrey.
All right. But Henderson in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't. You can tell. We're not loving it. So that's a good question over there. Again, we're going to continue going through these at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I see a ton of them coming in. So we'll make sure to hit these. Going to continue on with some rankings, risers and fallers, and some of the big questions that we have to go through for week 5. Really, Adam, we have to talk about Woody Marks. Is he an RB2 going into this week? And then what does Baltimore's offense look like without Lamar Jackson? We're breaking all of that down here. Coming up next. All right, guys, I want to talk with you all about an incredible new deal. You might see it at fantasylife.com. The website looks a little bit different. A new deal with Comet, an AI-powered browser that acts as a personal assistant and a thinking partner. I was able to download this just a few weeks ago, and I've been playing around with it, and it really is amazing. It might be game-changing here. So you can ask Comet to give you updates on player injuries, coach speak, and a ton more while simultaneously looking through fantasy football rankings at fantasylife.com. Comet can remind you which leagues and platforms you need to update on a weekly basis so you never start a player on bye. And the cool part about this, guys, is that for a limited time, you can actually get Fantasy Life Plus for free. So we always put those promo codes out. If you've been thinking, I want to get tier 1 or tier 2 subscriptions, when you download Comet at fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET, for a limited time, you can also get Fantasy Life Plus for free. So go to fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET, follow the 2-minute step-by-step guide, and you'll have full access to every rankings, tools, and projections page at Fantasy Life. So download and install the browser to activate your promo code, and it must be redeemed in the Comet browser. So that is fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET, and that is for a free year of Fantasy Life Plus starting now. Oh, we sure do. We're bringing the heat today, bringing the Folgers, bringing all the good vibes your way, because week 5 might be brutal for your start sits, but we are here to help you through that. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you right here on Fantasy Life. Let's continue on here, Adam. A lot of questions going into today, a lot of start sit questions as well. Woody Marks was the big waiver wire name to know coming into this week. A lot of people spent a lot of money on him this week and last week as well, once we saw that, his role was growing every single time we saw him out there. So he has, to what it looks like, surpassed Nick Chubb in Houston. And we know that Houston team isn't necessarily amazing. We're not starting every single player every single time that we see over there. But D'Amico Ryans even said he's excited to see how much work the rookie can handle. So you've seen it all increase each week this season. So you look at him, he's been an excellent receiver. He was an excellent receiver in college. But going up this weekend, what are your expectations for him? I have him as an RB2. Like if you picked him up, you picked him up for a reason, and you're more than likely starting him this week.
Yeah, every week we've seen the snaps go up, and it was up to 58.5% last week. And Nick Chubb has just not looked the same. Marks just brings a little bit more explosiveness, and the matchup is not daunting like we thought. Baltimore dealing with a ton of injuries on the defensive side, and they've allowed the 6th most rushing yards per game and the 2nd highest yards per carry. So, yeah, this is a week where if you have Marks on your roster, you're probably feeling like you're saved because now you can put him in the lineup. Yeah. I know that's the case for me in a couple leagues. I'm like, oh, thank goodness I have him because now I can just put him in the lineup this week where I have a lot of holes to fill due to the bye weeks and injuries. So, yeah, I think in a lot of instances, if you have Woody Marks, there's probably some people out there in 10-team leagues where they have a lot better running backs, and then they're going to be like, oh, they were talking up Marks. Do I get him in? Again, it all comes down to who you have, but in a lot of leagues, I think you're getting him in the lineup this week.
I agree. And you like the matchup. I mean, week 5, they're going up against just an injury-filled Ravens team that they've allowed the most touchdowns at 7 and fantasy points to running backs. So you're picking on them a little bit. So
I never thought I'd see the day.
I know.
Where the Ravens are allowing the most fantasy points per game to running backs.
I can't believe it either. But how the times have changed, because that's how we're picking on them. We're saying, yeah, you're starting Woody Marks if you can everywhere. But we'll see if he's able to come down with it. But yeah, it's depending, of course, on your rosters, and you can send us some screenshots, but you're looking at him. If you have Joe Mixon, drop him. I mean, it doesn't look like going to see Joe Mixon this season. Nick Chubb, is doing what we kind of expected. Not that much there. So you're excited about Woody Marks. Other side of this game, because we've talked about it a little bit here, but what does Baltimore's offense look like now that Lamar Jackson is not going to be in there? You get Cooper Rush coming in. How much have you upgraded, downgraded? Maybe things have stayed neutral. I think the last time I saw their team total 20 and a half points is what I saw the last time, which it would be a season low in this matchup this weekend. So expectations.
It's not very high. I mean, Texans defense is pretty good. You figure they're going to try and lean on Derrick Henry here a lot. I mean, part of the reason why they haven't been able to is because they've been playing from behind, and Henry tends to come off the field, but they're going to feed Henry often and early, hoping he can break some runs. Zay Flowers has been really good. I think you're probably going to have to play him and hope that he can make a big play in this one. And then maybe Mark Andrews. We did see when Cooper Rush came in, he went to Andrews a lot last week. So, but yeah, it's a tough matchup here where you're lowering your expectations for the Ravens. But I think those are probably the only 3 you can play.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough, but I mean, and listen, I've heard people say that, when we've seen Cooper Rush before, I mean, it, Adam, very well for Dallas. You saw him in 7 full games, through 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, averaged 6.6 yards per attempt, completed 62% of his passes. And I understand it too, like CeeDee Lamb was still able to get fantasy points in that stretch too. 17.8 fantasy points per game, ranked 14th among receivers in those starts, though, more specifically with Rush. I'm just surprised they didn't get a backup quarterback that had some rushing upside or kind of mimicked Lamar's game just a little bit more, because that would be a lot easier to go ahead. And when you're making those game plans, when you have to insert any quarterback in there, you at least can make it a little bit easier. But Rush adds almost nothing with his legs, so that's the one thing you have to look at here. So I'm just surprised that that's where they went with Cooper Rush this offseason. But hey, there you go. Hopefully he can sustain fantasy, just sustain a couple of good fantasy players for you in week 5. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, it is surprising. Usually you have a quarterback with a similar skill set. That's the backup, so you could just plug him in and it'll be a similar offense. And yeah, Cooper Rush does not offer the rushing ability. So it is a little bit of a strange situation there.
Question here from Angie on X said, 3rd season mom here, listening to you guys every morning. Shout out to you, Angie. I'm 1-3. I really do have a good team, though. Same here. I'm telling you, I do as well. I need a wide receiver and a flex to beat my son out this week. So I like that. Oh, these are good options. JSN, Pickens, and Igbuka. 1 wide receiver and a flex. Wow.
Yeah, how are you I guess the rest of the team.
Sometimes you can go up against the best scoring teams in the league.
That's why I like to do double headers. My home league, we do double headers. So this way, if you do have I'm sure there are 1 and 3 teams that go up against the highest scoring team 2 or 3 weeks. If you have the double headers, maybe you're 4-4 instead, or 5-3. So or victory points. But I think we do need to do a better job. Talked about this all preseason. And we'll talk about again the offseason about changing your formats, but too late now. But yeah, JSN is in and Pickens for me. And I love Igbuka, but
I know you do.
Pickens is the guy there now. And yes, he probably will be shadowed by Sauce Gardner, but Dak will throw it up and give Pickens an opportunity to score.
They're close going into the week, though, but I am agreeing with I like Pickens. I have him ahead of Igbuka, and then JSN is a top fantasy starter every single week.
Yeah, he's basically top 5 receiver at this point almost every single week.
Which is great. Good for him. You know what? Good for him. I love that for JSN. He's my wide receiver 3, consensus wide receiver 3 too. The only 2 guys you have ahead of him is Puka Nacua and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I mean, the volume is there. He is the go-to guy, and I had him a lot last year, and I don't this year, and it sucks.
Brutal. More questions that we're going to go through. I want to ask about Tetairoa McMillan. Is this the breakout week for Tetairoa McMillan? Again, going through what the Jackson Dart-led Giants look like without Malik Neighbors as well. We're going to break it down, take more of your questions here. Coming up next. Happy Friday to everyone joining us and hanging out. Happy, I can't believe it, Adam. We didn't say happy Taylor Swift new album day to everyone listening. That likes Taylor Swift. I haven't listened to it yet. I know you've gone through it about 3 times. But
4, but who's counting?
4. I'm so sorry. I messed up. So happy, the vibes are good today. It's a good day. We're going to get through this week and there's going to be no more injuries. I'll just call it now. How it couldn't get worse. Just kidding. I won't say that because we know that it does get a little bit brutal. At least next week, though, I will say, if we are looking at the bright side, which I always am, we have way less teams on bye next week. You're only missing the Houston Texans, Minnesota Vikings, but the 4 this week again, Steelers, Packers, Bears, Falcons. So, just looking ahead. I do want to know, though, because we've talked about Cooper Rush, we've talked about Woody Marks, and a lot of changes that these teams are going to go through. Just for you, we've talked about Tetairoa McMillan, but he's kind of been in this, in this zone in the rankings where you're like, okay, he's the wide receiver 1, obviously, on his team. You're probably playing him. But what are your expectations for this team and the Dolphins? Because we have picked on the Dolphins before, and I think I've seen this question come through. He ranks 6th in targets, 15th in air yards, and he gets a really good matchup this week in week 5. Again, if you have Tetairoa McMillan, you probably know that you're going to play him, but we don't usually talk about some of the, not necessarily superstars, but the guys that are always usually a lock. But Tetairoa McMillan, I just wanted to shout him out for Miami has allowed the second most yards per attempt at 8.8. And their defense is one that we just pick on.
Yeah, he's obviously someone that you're getting in there. It's been a little bit disappointing so far. I think we were hoping for a little bit more, and a lot of it has to do with this offense. He is getting the targets, that's for sure, but, a lack of touchdowns, 100-yard games has been lacking, but I think there will be a big game around the corner, and it could be this week against Miami.
I hope so. Don't you? That would be nice.
Yeah, I have him in a couple leagues. I mean, look, it's been okay. I mean, he hasn't scored a touchdown yet, so that sucks, but at least 8 targets in every game. So you got double-digit in PPR in 3 of the 4 games, so his worst game was 7.8. Yeah. So it's been okay, but we were hoping for more. So hopefully this is the week that he finds the end zone.
All right, going to more questions here. I see one from Allie. Jordan Mason or RJ Harvey, full point PPR? Oof.
I think you have to go Mason there on the volume. Again, it is a very difficult matchup. Yeah. Lowering expectations. You hope that he finds the end zone. But, again, Denver ran 80 plays last week. So all the numbers are inflated. And yes, it looked like we saw RJ Harvey more in the game earlier than usual, but still, I think the bulk of his touches did come in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And J.K. Dobbins has looked really good, and it is Philadelphia. So, yes, you're feeling better about RJ Harvey, but I still don't think we can start him over Jordan Mason, even in the toughest matchup for Mason.
And I mean, you've said it. You just need him, and it's obviously easy to say, but you just need him to find the end zone in this game, Jordan Mason, because that's just set him and look away, because it's going to be really tough against this Cleveland Browns defense, and that's just one that we've kind of avoided this year. But in this situation, I would go Jordan Mason. I have him ahead of RJ Harvey for the Week 5 rankings. Here's another one. This one's interesting too. 1 of 3 full point PPR: Rico, Dowdle, TreVeyon Henderson, or Jacory, Croskey-Merritt. Bill.
I think it's Dowdle easy.
I do too. So we haven't updated, and I see this again. We haven't updated yet the website for the projections. Dwayne is on that right now. Matthew Friedman's on that right now. But Rico Dowdle, you are probably going to start in a lot of these situations because just remember, you do not have Chuba Hubbard in this game. So Rico Dowdle immediately moves up. I haven't updated my rankings yet. We've been a little bit busy, Adam, doing this show, but maybe I'll do it in the break here. But I like Rico Dowdle in this one as well. And yeah, it's Rico Dowdle for me there. Appreciate you, Eric and Allie, sending in those messages. We're going to get through more of those. We're going to take your phone calls as well. 888-963-2682. We're doing that all in the water cooler. News and notes that you need to know for week 5 here coming up next. Oh, it is time for that Fantasy Life Water Cooler. Going through all the news and notes that you need to know heading into week 5. And there is a lot that we are going to get through here right now. Going through all the injuries, going through everything else that you need here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam, Ronis with you. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. As always, if you cannot get through, on the phone lines, a little bit busy with work today, if you aren't sending us those messages on X, then make sure you go to fantasylife.com. We do have the start sit tool presented by Xfinity there. We also have our projection. So if you're really in a tough spot, and I know a lot of you are, I see some of these messages, Adam, and I'm like, yeah, this is where we're at. You're going to have really tough decisions going into this week, but you can go to fantasylife.com and use that start sit tool, put in anything that you need, sync your league, and then it will give you the best advice, the best start sit advice that it can going into week 5. And again, I mentioned Comet before, but I've talked about it. And so if you go to fantasylife.com right now, you're going to see the website looks a little bit different, but Comet is an AI powered browser that acts as a personal assistant and thinking partner. So we're running a deal right now. Limited time, Fantasy Life Plus. If you've been thinking about tier 1, tier 2 over there, you can get it for free when you download Comet at fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET. It's basically 2 minutes, step-by-step guide. You'll have full access to every rankings page, tools, projections, everything at Fantasy Life. So go and download Comet, fantasylife.com/Comet. Again, it's pretty cool. I have had it for a couple weeks now. And again, it's an AI powered browser. You can ask for update on player injuries. You can ask to, set alarms, make sure you're not starting anyone on buys, everything like that. So fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET is where you go. Get Fantasy Life Plus for free, for a free year starting today. So make sure you go and do that. All right, Adam, and we got the phone lines open. Everyone's ready to go. You're ready to go. You're always ready.
That's right. Ready to go.
All right, here we go. For all the injuries that we have to talk about here. Let me just hit 3 off the top that we haven't mentioned yet, but ones that we are paying attention to today. I made sure I asked you in the break just to make sure I wasn't missing anyone. Brock Bowers missed Thursday's workout. I think that Brock Bowers, if you have him, time to make a backup plan just in case. If he practices today, obviously these Friday workouts are the ones that are really important. Same with Thursdays. Brock Bowers missed practice on Thursday. Michael Pittman Jr. with a hamstring injury was limited on Thursday. And then Calvin Ridley missed practice again for the Tennessee Titans. So it feels like Brock Bowers, Calvin Ridley are at the top of that list of just players. Hey, if you have them, make sure to have a backup plan. Michael Pittman feels because he was limited and wasn't necessarily a DNP. Obviously, today is going to be really important. They expect Alec Pierce to be back this week with that concussion. So, those are really the 3 that I saw yesterday that I said, okay, red flag here. Let's make sure we watch out.
Yeah, Pittman was added to the injury report yesterday, so okay. I haven't seen details if that occurred during practice. You would think it did and what the details are. So definitely something to keep an eye on for today. Brock Bowers has been playing with this knee injury. We clearly see it. He's had the brace on his knee, so maybe they're looking at it like, you know what, we probably should have sat him a week or two, and or this could just be probably maintenance, where they're, he's going to just play through it, or is it a setback? We don't know, but he was limited Wednesday in DNP yesterday, so that definitely is something to keep an eye on. And Ridley is reportedly battling injuries, battling the ability to catch the football as well. And, last week he was 4th on the team in route percentage at receiver at 41%. So he was limited last week. And it's a terrible offense to begin with, and it's been a real struggle. So even though it is a tough week, him being out might save yourself from a 2 for 20 performance. But, we'll have to keep an eye on all 3 of these, and today will be key.
Sounds like someone that has a good amount of Calvin Ridley talk.
Too much Calvin Ridley.
It's like, dang, you're just piling it on here for Calvin Ridley.
It's been brutal.
I mean, what, you don't like the 6.7, 8.7, 3.75 fantasy points to start the season? Are you sure? That seems nice.
Yeah, just a terrible start.
If he's out in this game, does Alec Manor go up enough where you think he is in flex consideration? Because he's been interesting where that connection is getting stronger, but again, he's not out there as much as we want to see him out there when we're talking about some of the utilization, the routes run, everything like that. So if Ridley's out, does he get into flex territory for you?
Yeah, again, this is a tough week, so he's been
crazy.
He's had a couple of good games here for fantasy purposes. Again, it's an offense that stinks right now. So, and it's not the best matchup. But yeah, I think you will be looking at him.
All right, more injury updates just to make sure we get through them. We talked about this at the top of the hour, just in case you're at the top of the show, just in case you weren't here. Chuba Hubbard is expected to miss week 5. Terry McLaurin is also going to be out for week 5. So those two, Terry we kind of knew, Chuba we were waiting on, but Terry McLaurin is out. And like you said, Adam, you have to, let's start with the Commanders. You have to be careful too with Deebo Samuel. There is a chance, right? I think you're more on the side that he's going to play. He did travel with the team, but just, be careful. You don't have Terry McLaurin there. How much does that make, I want to say, Luke McCaffrey a riser for you? I feel like he's creeping into flex territory, especially if Deebo Samuel's going to be not necessarily limited, but he is dealing with an injury right now as well.
Yeah, it's a heel issue for Deebo. He didn't practice the last 2 days, but it is encouraging that he was on the flight. But again, we've seen this situation. You just got to pay attention and, see if he goes through warm-ups and comes out fine. But yeah, I mean, look, McCaffrey, I just wish we saw him play a little bit more. But again, deeper leagues, we are scrambling this week, so he'll be in the conversation.
That's crazy. We can't believe we're saying that. And then Chuba Hubbard, again, expected to miss week 5. We've had a couple questions on Rico Dowdle here coming into today. So again, fantasylife.com. Dwayne's updating those projections right now. So you might see if you add him to the start sit tool right now, you might not see it as a recommendation to start Rico. That's going to change once Dwayne is all done updating those. So Rico Dowdle is in a spot, especially with all the running back injuries, receiver injuries with the teams on a bye. He is going to be the running back for the Carolina Panthers and will take on this larger role. You'll see a little bit of Trevor Etienne, that is, DJ Dallas as well. They're the other running backs on this roster. But Dowdle has had 28 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown so far this season, but he is going to have a good workload going up against the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and it's a good week to have him on the bench because now he's getting a lot of touches this week, and you can plug him in your lineup. So sometimes you get a little fortunate in this challenging week. You have Dowdle on the bench, and now all of a sudden you can put him in your lineup and expect pretty solid numbers because of the workload this week.
Putting him in my guillotine lineups. That should be, what could go wrong?
Nothing.
with starting with Rico
Dowdle. 6 points, and then we can mention
six points is sometimes all you need.
Yeah, that is true.
I have brutal. Oh my gosh, I have brutal guillotine lineups this week. It is.
We all have brutal lineups this week.
It is not pretty. It is not pretty over there. I do see, since we're on guillotine leagues, I do see a question here from James. Need guillotine league help, please. Lost Lamb early on and then Tyreek last week. Oh, brutal. Need 2 of these 4 and none give me the warm and fuzzy feeling. Yeah, understandable. Hollywood Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Christian, Kirk, and then Sean Tucker. I would say Sean. Oh man, we saying Sean Tucker for sure? Because, against the Seahawks, I don't know. I can see why these don't give you the warm and fuzzy feelings.
Yeah, they're all tough. I mean, Hollywood Brown, we saw his role diminish with Xavier Worthy back, right? He's always capable of breaking that big play, but he just had 3 for 38. I mean, he did find the end zone, but
Jerry Jeudy with a new quarterback going up against the Vikings defense, though.
Yeah, I guess it would be Brown would be 1. And then it was who? Tucker, Jeudy.
Tucker and Kirk.
And then maybe Kirk.
Oh, really?
Okay, so who's better?
Kidding. None of them. I just wanted to get a reaction out of you. Sean Tucker, we don't know what that's a tough defense going up against Seattle. So that's the only reason I'm nervous about that.
It could be mostly Rachaad White, and we don't see a lot of Tucker.
That's what I'm saying. That's why usually I would say maybe it's Tucker, but do think it's Hollywood and Kirk. Judy, we just don't know. We don't have a sample size, right? That's the other part with Judy. Like, it could look good, but Dylan Gabriel's going up against it's a tough climb there, because not only is it his first start, it's an international game, and you're going up against the Flores defense, which is going to make your life a little bit difficult in week 5, or else I would say Judy, but I'm just a bit nervous about him this week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could consider him because he could get you 7 points. That might be good enough, right? That's basically kind of what he's giving you. So maybe it's Judy and Brown.
All right.
Yeah, go Judy and Brown.
It's difficult. Nonetheless, James, it's obviously a difficult question there. So appreciate you sending those in. We see all of your phone calls as well on hold, so we are going to get to those here too. But just continuing on, again, we talked about that Thursday night game last night. Brock Purdy, though, if you are a Brock Purdy manager, Adam, week to week is what he's considered. Ian Rappaport said that yesterday. So he was not only referring to this game last night, but he was also referring to potentially week 6. So Mac Jones, he has a long time to rest and recover.
Since it was that there's
no,
I didn't hear you.
No, yes, you did. I know you did for sure. You're not going to get me on it.
I
just got a long time to rest and recover.
I just saw this news. That's why.
What news?
There's optimism that Brock Bowers will end up playing.
Well,
even if he doesn't practice today, there's continued optimism.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, that's what it's saying here.
Wow. He hasn't been very good for you.
He's hurt. I mean, you can see it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So you might have picked someone up, and they might have been doing a little bit better. But again, the tight end landscape is so bad that... Let me see who I have ahead of him.
I think if you have Bowers, you have to. I can't imagine there's many, unless you drafted him and Ferguson.
Good.
But, like, how many people with Bowers have a better option?
Not many. Not many. Unless you had Tyler Warren. I have Tyler Warren ahead this week.
Do you really think people drafted both of those guys?
Sometimes.
I can't imagine many.
Tyler Warren was going pretty late, to be honest.
I mean, not in competitive leagues. He was sometimes going the 5th, 6th tight end off the board.
All right.
I mean, if you do have those two, you play Warren.
Bowers. Yeah.
But, again, there's not... When you start looking at the tight end rankings this week, outside the top 5, like, it gets dicey. You got, like, Dalton Kincaid, who runs, like, 54% of the routes and could give you 1 catch for 12 yards. Jawan Johnson, who's banged up. He did practice yesterday, but he missed time last week. Potential for Taysom Hill or Foster Moreau to return this week or soon. You just have a lot of Travis Kelce, who hates his birthday. His birthday's Sunday. He plays Monday.
Narrative game.
TJ Hawkinson, who's like 4th on the team in targets and in a bad situation. Dallas Goedert, who if he doesn't
get... We're playing Brock Bowers. We're playing Brock Bowers.
I mean, it's bad.
Right. It's horrible. It's horrible.
I'd rather have Brock Bowers with one knee than a lot of these guys.
All right, you're playing Brock Bowers. Looks like even if he doesn't practice, even if he doesn't practice today, they said it looks like he's going to be.
That was a report. We'll see. I mean, my guess is, they're probably giving him maintenance. They're like, look, we know you're not healthy. Sit out and just give us what you can during the game.
Brock Purdy,
maybe they should have. Maybe when it first happened, they should have sat him out a couple of weeks.
Probably. Now that we're looking at it, yeah. And then it's just started Michael Mayer, but what do we know? Hey, let me finish with this before we get to the phone calls. Stefon Diggs, does he go hard or go home in this one? Talk about a revenge game or the narrative games.
I think you have to say go hard for sure, because we saw the best he looked last week. We saw him play more snaps, and we know he already said it's going to be emotional, but season high 77.3% route share. The targets were there, so definitely a good sign. And we know there's not a lot on this team. As well as Drake May has played, it's not like they are deep at wide receivers. So I don't think you're going to see that from Diggs every week, but he clearly is the team's wide receiver 1, and I think he's a strong play this week.
Yeah. No, he looks like he's getting healthier. He does look like he's getting a lot better. And yeah, what you said, for what Drake May has been doing with the lack of weapons again so far this season, it's been pretty impressive. But Diggs is coming off a really good week, right? He had the 81 utilization score. He had season highs in route participation, target share, air yards, 16.1 fantasy points against the Panthers. So I like him this week. And like you said, he brought it up. He brought up on his return. He said, quote, "It's obviously going to be hard and emotional." So we'll see see what he's able to do here. Ready to go out to the phone lines? Of course
Let's do it.
Of course you are. All right. Phone number to call in, 888-963-2682, or you can press that new calling button on the Sirius XM app. Let's go out to Chris in Las Vegas. Nice. Chris, what do you got for us?
Jordan Mason. Would you guys start him going against Cleveland?
Who is it? Who else are your options? Who are your other options?
Yeah, it's bleak this week. I mean, I could probably pick up Kendre Miller.
No, I mean, look, I don't know if you heard us earlier. It's a bad matchup. Everyone's aware of how good Cleveland is against the run. But you can't start players that just don't have a big role in their offense. Mason is still going to get heavy volume. You hope that he finds the end zone. You're just lowering your expectations. But I think this is where people get misled. They hear people say, sit this guy, it's a bad matchup. It all depends on who your other options are. You can't just pick up someone who's going to get 5 to 7 touches in their offense for a guy that's getting 15 to 20. We've seen players come through in bad matchups before. He could find the end zone. There could be a broken play. They can get near the goal line and he gets 2 touchdowns. It's certainly possible. So, yes, it's a daunting matchup. It looks bad. The Browns have shut down everyone outside of Jahmyr Gibbs. But even Josh Jacobs that week had 5 catches for 44 yards. And Mason can be involved in the passing game, especially if it's a couple of screens. And maybe that's the adjustments they do. But, like, you cannot bench Jordan Mason for Kendre Miller.
No, I agree, Chris, with Adam here. Jordan Mason, it's not going to be pretty. That's the one thing. We know that he's been serviceable in these 2 games filling in with Aaron Jones gone. But this one, you kind of just said it. You close your eyes and you watch a different game and hope that, again, he just finds the end zone. They've limited some of these players that they've gone against, like Adam said, Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery combined as well. So there is still upside, though, with Jordan Mason, hopefully, again, just finding the end zone. So appreciate you calling in. Let's go out to and continue on here. Brian in Oklahoma. Brian, what do you got for us?
Kendall, Ronis, happy Friday. The coffee is sweeter after picking up and starting Pontus and Kendrick Bourne.
Yes.
However, I sat Stafford because it was looking good that I did for a minute there, and then he went off. So I'm stuck between Jaden Daniels and Sam Darnold, and Daniels coming off an injury, the leg brace possibly. Well, what are your thoughts?
Listen, I still have Daniels ranked higher, and I probably will the rest of the week. If Jaden Daniels is out there, Adam, it's tough to sit him. I know that you can be a little bit nervous. He's our consensus QB5 this week, even with the injury news. Ian has him at QB3. Dwayne has him at QB5. I'm sitting at 6. I just think if you have Jaden Daniels, you're starting him.
Yeah, if the team look, they already sat him out 2 weeks, so they clearly feel he's ready to return. And yes, no McLaurin and Deebo Samuel's banked up, but if Jaden Daniels is out there, I'm playing him.
Yeah, appreciate you calling in though, Brian. And hopefully he gets as many fantasy points as Matthew Stafford. I did the same thing a couple weeks ago where you're just like, I don't need to start this quarterback. We'll go, who was it? It was Dak. It was Dak last week.
Yeah.
Said, why would I start Dak in this matchup? I'm going anywhere else I can. And then you're watching the game like, yep, there it is. There it goes. Brutal. Oh well. It'll be okay. We got your back, Brian. So appreciate everyone calling in here. We're going to continue on. Again, fantasylife.com. That's where you want to go and use that start sit tool. And again, if you're looking at buying a Fantasy Life Plus subscription, let me tell you, you can get it free right now. Go to fantasylife.com/Comet, COMET. You follow the 2-minute step-by-step guide. You'll have full access to every ranking tool and projection on Fantasy Life. So you download and install the browser to activate your promo code. Let me know if there are any problems, but there should not be. We are really excited about this new deal with Comet here. So make sure you go and do that. We've got more things to talk about, Adam. Go hard, go home. I've got some names for you. Just like the start sits. Are they going to go hard this week? Or are they going to go home? We're going to talk about it next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Kenneth, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Friday, bringing all the good vibes, all the good coffee, more specifically Folgers, and all the good start sit advice. What, Adam? Don't give me that look.
Come on. Me.
And all the good start sit advice. You got your coffee this morning?
I actually did, yeah.
Oh, nice. You went for what? You made it? Went for a walk?
Made it.
Okay, lovely. All right, we're gonna keep going here. Go hard. I don't know. I have no easy transition from that, but we're gonna see who goes hard or who goes home here. Presented by Mike's Hard Lemonade, because we always want to make the best decisions for our lineups, and we don't want to play it scared here. Just like Mike's Hard Lemonade. So go hard or go home here. Oh, you know what? I want to start. Let's start with a good one here. Dalton Kincaid. Go hard or go home for I feel like he actually might be a matchup highlight. Bills going up against the Patriots. I feel this should be also a really good game. But I know that we've talked before, maybe more of a touchdown dependent fantasy player. He ranks 6th among tight ends in fantasy points, sitting at 49.9 last time I looked. 15% target share though, because he has 3 touchdowns here, Adam. So go hard or go home for Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, it's always difficult with Kincaid. If I have to go one way, I'll say go hard because of the matchup here. 8th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. You need New England to keep this game competitive, but Kincaid is basically in a part-time role. I mean, he's basically in the 50% area of route share. So we know he can score a touchdown. It's just the touchdowns have been there for him this year. That's why he's the tight end 7. Fantasy points per game. He has 3 touchdowns, but we're not seeing him used enough. But the landscape of tight end is pretty rough, and we are seeing Josh Allen look for him. He looks healthy, so I'll say go hard in this matchup.
The Patriots, I mean, I also like the matchup for Dalton Kincaid going up against the Patriots. You saw what Tremble did last week, and Mitchell Evans, to be honest. Like, they combined for some good fantasy points here. So I'll say go hard as well for Dalton Kincaid. Again, the tight end landscape, not necessarily pretty ever, but if you have him, you're looking at that and saying, all right, well, I'm just going to try and take this opportunity and put him out there. Let's go. Okay, go hard or go home. And this is a perfect time to talk about Wan'Dale Robinson. Do you believe, not only go hard or go home, he's a high-end wide receiver 3 in week 5. Malik Neighbors, obviously we know, suffered that knee injury. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. So we ran to the waiver wire. Wan'Dale Robinson, I didn't mention as much, and we didn't this week because he was over 50% rostered in most leagues. So if you already had him, obviously you were going to keep him. But between Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton, the expectations for them to step into this role with all those vacated targets now, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you would have to say go hard here because he's always, like last year, he had 140 targets. It was a lot of short routes, but we have seen some more deeper options for him. The only issue I have is they want to run the football a lot, and especially in this game against the Saints, I think they're going to do that as well. But Robinson's going to get targets. He's got a 20.6% target share, so he's going to see more volume with Neighbors out. I think this is a tough matchup, though, against the Saints. They've been pretty good against slot receivers.
Yeah, I don't want to say excited, but I'm ready for this. I mean, you saw how much I spent on Darius Slayton over the week, $312. Please, Darius Slayton. I only need just a little bit. I'm not even asking for a lot here. I just need a little bit to get me through. But for our projections, let me just say this. Wan'Dale Robinson projected for 11.2 fantasy points. Darius Slayton, 8.9. That's the median there. The Xfinity best score, 24.4 for Wan'Dale Robinson. Darius Slayton is sitting at 20. So I'm with you on the expectations that, we've seen him run on the ground a little bit when we're looking at Jaxon Dart now. He brings a lot, or can bring a lot, with his legs. He only passed for 111 yards last week, and I think Cam Skadaboo is going to be the same way. And even I think Cam Skadaboo just on the ground, and we know he's a good pass catcher as well. He could be that, safety blanket for Jaxon Dart if he's ever in a little bit of trouble here. But if you have Wan'Dale, or if you bought, if you were able to buy him and get him off the waiver wire, that's why, it's a week like this where you just say, okay, we're not going to always be talking very highly about this team because the Eagles, they take on the Eagles the next 2, and
short week,
maybe the
Thursday
Broncos.
night.
I mean, it's going to be tough. So if there's ever a week, though, you're going to feel more confident than not starting Wan'Dale Robinson, and maybe Darius Slayton is going to be this one. Going up against
this is a challenging week again where we're really having to dig deep, especially in deeper formats. So, Slayton, we've seen the Giants paid him in the offseason. It's been a slow start. But last year, Neighbors missed 2 games, and Slayton had a 29.3% target share. So I think also Theo Johnson becomes interesting
Yeah,
too.
I like Theo Johnson as well. Yeah, I think he should step up into some good work. Honestly, between him and Darren Waller have been big risers this week in the rankings.
And Mason Taylor.
Mason Taylor. Love Mason Taylor. I think we talked about him this week, didn't we?
Yeah.
I want to make sure we did,
wire.
but yeah, waiver wire. I mean, he's looking good. He's also someone that that definitely rose up the ranks. And I think that, he had his best performance in week 4 this season, 26% target share, 82 utilization score. There's no competition behind Hall or Wilson, right? I mean, it's just, and we just got the news on, I didn't mention this, but looks like, Braylon Allen is going to be out for 8 to 12 weeks with his injury, which means maybe a potential return in December, but that's not good. Ian Rappaport said that surgery is on the table for him.
Yeah, he's a cut. He's didn't even wait. Yeah. Like, I have a league with the IR spots, but, at that day where waivers ran, he was not on the IR yet. So I said, this sounded bad. I'm not going to wait. I'm cutting him. So, yeah, now if you were in a similar situation and maybe you were holding on, he's a cut. I mean, 8 to 12 weeks. Yeah.
That's
he might not be back this year. There's no, you don't, if you don't have IR spots, you don't have the time to wait on that.
Isaiah Davis, right? The next man up in that backfield. So worth picking up, not saying start this week, but we always value the RB2 role, and he just automatically jumps up the depth chart because of this. So definitely someone to go and look at. But yeah, good shout out with Mason Taylor, with Theo Johnson, and also with Darren Waller going into this week. Let me do one more, and then we've got questions here over on X. Just the Arizona Cardinals running back room. Go hard or go home. Let's start. So Trey Benson again. Trey Benson heading to IR, so he's going to be out for at least 4 weeks. We might see we could come back on here on Monday, Overreaction Monday, and say, gross, this is a 3-way committee in Arizona. But let's start with Amari DiMercato. Go hard or go home, and then we'll talk through Michael Carter as well. What are your expectations?
I mean, look, I can't say go hard on either of these guys. Yeah. I just can't. Now, am I playing them? Yeah. I mean, again, it's a terrible week where a ton of running backs are hurt and bye weeks, but you can't say with confidence to go hard on either of these guys. It could be a split. Let's not forget, they were not having success running the football with James Conner healthy. He was not putting up good numbers. So this is a situation where we're hurting and you need options, but to say go hard on either of these guys, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't either. I actually picked up more Michael Carter than anyone else. Amari DiMercato was kind of rostered in a lot of places. I know you did too. And you've said it. I mean, even the whole season, even last week, they weren't productive. But I mean,
it is a good matchup.
Seattle was a tough. Yeah, I was just going to say Seattle was a tough matchup. This is a better one going up against Tennessee. Arizona Cardinals are at home in this one, but I mean, Seattle's tough. We said it. They're allowing 3.3 yards per carry to running backs. So I think life is a little bit easier for them going up against the Titans in week 5. They've allowed 5.1 yards per carry and the most touchdowns at 7, 4th most fantasy points to running backs. So maybe not go hard, but
it's a great matchup. But again, we don't know how it's going to be distributed, right? We're all guessing here. And I know Michael Carter came out and said he's the starter. Then you saw yesterday in practice that they were alternating. So it could be an ugly split. It could be Carter getting the bulk of the touches. It could be DiMercato. So that's why I can't say go hard on either of these guys, but they will be in my starting lineups this week.
Oh yeah, because we like pain and sadness and suffering, and I'll have both of them in. I think both of them, if you need to, they are in the flex spot, and we just sit back and watch. And I never thought that Michael Carter. I thought it would be a split. Michael Carter said he was going to be the starter, the RB1.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know. He said he went from being like the practice squad player of the week to starting the next week.
Okay, so, got it. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a better matchup.
And if you're starting, that doesn't mean much, all right? Because
no,
Chris Rodriguez has been the starter, but Jacory Croskey-Merritt is the one who plays most of the game after the first 2 drives. So a starter just means you're on the field for the first play. So
Calvin Ridley's been starting for you, and he's giving.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
All right, I see some questions here. Speaking of Amari DiMercato, I see one here. Full point PPR, need to start Wan'Dale Robinson or Amari DiMercato in the flex. It's Wan'Dale.
Yeah, I think we know his role is. Yeah, I mean it's just a higher floor.
Yeah. Here's another one that I see from. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, Pittman or Wan'Dale.
I mean, if Pittman is playing, he's in.
Yeah, you just have to watch today, that practice report. What is he dealing with? Hang
Hamstring.
on. I have, oh, geez. But he was just limited. He wasn't a DNP yesterday.
But he popped up on the injury report yesterday, which
during the
which
practice?
means that probably happened during practice.
All right. Well, that's not good. Yeah, it's going to be Pittman if he's in, but just continue watching those injury reports, especially today. All right, we are going to continue on here. I do see, we've got a lot of questions. Oh, here, let me do one more. Just kidding. I lied. From Bills fan, Drake May or Jalen Hurts this week going into week 5.
It's so difficult for me to bench Jalen Hurts. Like, we had a question, I think it was last Sunday on our morning show, and it was like, Gene and I were like, come on, man. Like, I think it's Jalen. You got to play Jalen Hurts. I understand the passing has been bad, but he can get 2 rushing touchdowns. Like, I think it's Hurts. I like Drake May. You know I love Drake May, but Jalen Hurts.
I need a squeaky wheel game from A.J. Brown in the worst way possible.
Haven't you said that 3 times this year?
Yeah. Yes. I've actually said it probably 4 times, and we got it once. I need it. Come on. Jalen Hurts is my QB too, though, even though it is against Denver. Denver. A.J. Brown. You sitting A.J. Brown? I mean, at some point we do have to talk. If we didn't have his name at the top, right, and we just covered up his name and he had those stats, I know you might not have better options and you just have to play your studs, but he has not been good this year.
Well,
it's been tough.
You in our league that we do together, the charity league?
Yeah.
I have him on the bench right now because we have Michael Pittman, Jalen Waddle, and Pickens.
Yep.
Now,
that sounds right.
Pittman might make that easy for us. If he's out, then we just plug in Brown, but I hate to bench A.J. Brown because people probably did in week 3, and he had that 100-yard game. He's capable of going off every week, but he's probably going to see Patrick Surtain this week. And I think this is probably the lowest you're going to see him ranked all year. So, again, there are probably people – this is just the unfortunate part. When you talk about a player, I'm benching him. Everyone hears that. They go, oh, do I need to bench A.J. Brown? And then they're going to give us scrub receivers. So, in most instances, no. We just have to have one example where I could see benching A.J. Brown.
You said it about the rankings. We have him ranked. I have him 18, and he keeps moving down.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, he keeps moving down.
You never see A.J. Brown that low. Never.
Tetairoa, McMillan, or A.J. Brown. It's Tet.
I think it is too.
Tet for me, at least. Keenan Allen or A.J. Brown. I think it's Keenan.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's Keenan Allen. Like, where does it get complicated here? Okay, Pittman. Let's say Pittman plays. Michael Pittman, A.J. Brown.
I think it's Pittman. He has a better matchup this week.
Jacoby Myers. Is that where you draw the line? Jacoby going up against the Colts or A.J. Brown?
Jacoby has a good matchup too.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr. or A.J. Brown?
Brown.
Okay, there we go. I found it.
But look, and I'm not going to say this most weeks. Now watch. This is the week that Brown goes off against Surtain.
It's just Surtain is just.
It's not even just that. It's just they don't.
I know they
pass
don't even
the ball.
Yes, they don't. He doesn't even get the ball. And those two, by the way, this is what makes some of these stats. And I'm glad that Dwayne pointed this out because he had how many targets last week?
They
7,
said
8
9.
Targets?
And
9.
I know Dwayne.
Two were catchable.
It's absolutely true because I went back and saw it too, and I was like, I mean, there was one target that was like out of bounds, and I'm like, that's AJ. That's why the target is misleading sometimes because some of these are not catchable.
Yeah, so I'll just say that. I mean, Pittman's been so good, or Surtain's been so good. He's, faced Ridley, Pittman, Johnston, Jamar Chase, and those 4 receivers averaged 9.2 fantasy points. And it was really Quentin Johnston. I mean, he had 14.3, and he cleared 8. That's the only one. So it's going to be tough. I'm just saying he's way down in the rankings, A.J. Brown is, and we know that that's going to be tough for some people to do their start sits. Let's continue on. I want to go through the matchup notebook. Some players that have really nice matchups this week, some that you might want to avoid. We're going to continue talking about, maybe on the other side. Let's talk about Bo Nix here in this one, more on Jordan Mason, Dalton Schultz, and more of your questions here coming up next. Oh, we sure do. We have everything to keep you dominating those fantasy football leagues, and we're so excited to be with you here on this Friday. Vibes are good. Vibes are high, Adam.
Because they're not.
Yes, they are. What are you talking about?
Really? You feel good looking at your lineups this week?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I feel great. Yeah. Why not? No, it's awful, but you just have to, stay positive.
Okay.
And then if it doesn't work, then it doesn't
what?
work.
If it doesn't
I don't
work,
know.
then what?
What are you going to do? This is why we play fantasy football for weeks like this. We never said winning a championship was going to be easy. Come on. This is the grind that it takes.
Yeah, this is definitely the most challenging week that we've had all year.
And it won't be
sure.
the last. It's
true.
the first week of buys. Come on. It's not going to be the last one either. We're going to have these same conversations here going forward.
I cannot believe the running backs I'm starting in the GST.
Let me hear some of them.
Michael Carter and Isaiah Pacheco.
I mean,
that's
Carter
bad.
I know, but
that
Carter
is bad.
Yeah, no, it's horrible.
I mean, I don't have Bucky Irving.
Yeah, I know. And you hope that you get Bucky Irving back next week.
I don't think it's happening.
I don't know.
They said he's
either.
likely to miss next week too.
They said week to week. So yeah. Just don't watch, you know? That's all you have to do with Isaiah.
I have Puka on this team and I don't even feel good about my team.
Yeah,
my running backs are in bad shape.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Oh well.
Oh well. We're all there. We'll get through it this week, and then we get another. Then we get, like I said, next week's buys. It's only 2. It's only the Texans and the Vikings.
And we could get some players back potentially. George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall. Hopefully,
you know what's going to be tough. So Texans, Vikings.
I mean, the
6.
Texans.
Week
the
7,
only Texans, I guess. Woody
Nico
Marks now and
Woody.
Nico. That's it. Like,
yeah.
No, you're not relying on anyone else.
A little bit of Dalton Schultz.
No way. You know? Who's starting Dalton Schultz
this week against Baltimore?
I'm saying in general for the year.
I'm just saying he could be a streamer this week. Yeah, I mean, if you want a long shot upside play, picking on the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, but are you really next week when the buys are coming out? You saying, "Damn, Dalton Schultz is out."
Well, maybe.
That's my point.
That's how bad some of my tight ends have been. I don't know. I think realistically, this week, if you need a streamer tight end, Dalton Schultz, there are worse names than Dalton Schultz going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Not every week, you're right, but I don't know. They have a weakness going up. Baltimore has a weakness against a lot of things, but tight ends especially.
Yeah, 6.5 catches they've allowed per game to tight ends.
That's crazy. I think Dalton Schultz is a good streamer this week. Not amazing, but if you need an option.
Yeah, like we said, tight end is pretty bad this week.
Has it always been this bad? I can't remember.
For tight ends, it feels like every year we go into the year, we're like, oh, tight end's not that bad this year. And then after week 1, we're like, oh, tight end sucks. Every year it feels that way. But again, there were good, so far, tight ends that you could have gotten outside the top 12 that have been great. You know, Jake Ferguson, obviously, the prime example of that.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Let me just finish. Week 7, okay, Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills out. And then we get week 8. Week 8 is the tough one where we're going to have these same conversations. Cardinals, Lions, Jaguars, Raiders, Rams, Seahawks, all out.
Let's not think about week 8 right now. Week 5 is challenging enough.
Sorry.
But it is good to plan ahead.
Sorry.
Look, there's no way you can plan for week 8 right now with everything that's going on.
You can just think good thoughts and hope that it works out. Okay.
Now I see when players say the cliche, hey, it's week to week. Yeah, for fantasy, it's week to week right now.
It's crazy. I know if I said matchup to avoid and you have Brian Thomas Jr., it's not technically someone that you can probably sit this week, but I will just say, has he not been one of the biggest disappointments so far this season? We actually have a lot that we could say are big disappointments, but he's got to be up there. He's played 85% of the offensive snaps, has a 23% target share, 2 end zone targets, and only 36 fantasy points total that he's given us through 4 weeks.
What's crazy, because I did like Brian Thomas going into the year, I think I must have him at a lot of best ball because I can only, on my top of my head, I think I only have him in 1 redraft league, which is, I'm stunned because, again, I did like him. So I must have him in a lot of best ball. And it also is one of those situations where I did have quite a few early picks. So if I'm picking in the top 4, he's not an option, right?
And that was me in the 10, 11, 12 spots, is that he was always an option for me at the turn.
And then there were a few situations where I was there late where I got Malik Neighbors, which obviously is hurting. But yeah, Thomas is one of the biggest disappointments because, again, I did not see this coming at all. And it's a combination. It's Trevor Lawrence has been bad, but we've seen Brian Thomas with the drops and a lot of mistakes. And I do think that wrist is bothering him for sure because it seems like he's not attacking the football. I did see one clip where he was switching the ball to the other hand that you could see he was in pain. So it sucks because you're pretty much just rolling him out there at this point, right? But it is a tough matchup here against Kansas City.
It is tough. Yeah.
It is. But I think, he's more in the wide receiver 2 area now, whereas he was a wide receiver 1. But I don't see a lot of situations where you're benching him unless, you got really good depth at receiver.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You're
why I
just
said we
lowering
can
expectations at this
exactly.
point.
That's why it's tough. Like when we say matchups to avoid, it's more of, hey, this is just a tough matchup, but we know a lot of you, including us. I mean, we can't avoid it. It's just you probably don't have better options, but it's lowering your expectations. But they've probably been pretty low since you've watched Brian Thomas Jr. To be honest, Adam. So lower them just a little bit more. Bo Nix is the other one I wanted to talk about. Saw some quarterback questions coming through as well. Our rankings are live at fantasylife.com, so you can go and check those out. Bo Nix going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. And we've talked a little bit, like sometimes we talk about this Eagles defense and we say, okay, they've had their share of like lapses and stuff, but they've allowed 4 passing touchdowns of 40 plus yards, which is twice as many as the next closest team. I thought that was an interesting stat. But on the whole, they've held quarterbacks to, that have played 64%. They've held them. So what are your expectations here for the Eagles going up against Bo Nix?
Yeah, I don't like him this week. He's had 2 finishes in the top 12 and 2 outside the top 15. I don't think he's been good this year. Even last week, like the numbers look good, but he threw that terrible interception in the end zone. I think they were looking to get Bo Nix right last week because they came out and they didn't run the ball early. Because there was a period where you're like, is J.K. Dobbins even in this game? And a lot of his yards came in the second half. So to me, they were saying, hey, we need to get Bo Nix going, and this is the perfect spot last week. This week, not a good spot. Probably he's outside the top 15 for me.
Yeah, I see the Eagles. So the Eagles have held these 4 quarterbacks to at least 18 fantasy points, which actually isn't that bad. But yeah, Bo Nix has not been playing.
Let's be real. The Tampa Bay, they kind of got fortunate. That was I don't know how Egbuka got that ball for that long touchdown that should have been picked off, and then they had another long reception to Bucky Irving. So those numbers were kind of inflated last week. Like Baker Mayfield, that 289 yards passing is very misleading if you watch the game. And then the other 3 quarterbacks, they held to less than 200 yards. So it's not a good matchup here for Bo Nix, and he has not looked good this season.
Let's continue on here, going through more of your questions over there on X and our favorite flex plays. This is where it gets gross, Adam. We're going to talk through some of these names here coming up next. Oh, it is Friday, everyone. Pack up. Pack your stuff up, get ready for the weekend, go ahead and leave work, go to lunch, don't come back, and root for the Mariners this weekend. That's all I have to say. It is Friday though, Adam. We've got good vibes going into it. We're all good.
Yeah, our fantasy team's looking great this week.
I'm going to this game. For anyone that needs to know, I'm going to this game. If you're in Seattle, you're going to that game, come say hi, but I'm going on Saturday. Ooh, I'm more nervous about that. Maybe that's why I'm not focusing on my fantasy teams yet. I got to get through Saturday, and then I'll be okay.
So then the Mariners, if they lose, then it's going to be disappointing for you, right?
What are you doing?
I'm saying if they do.
Then yeah, once we come back on Monday, it might be a little bit rough. You cannot lose
this series to
Adam, what are you doing?
A Tigers team that choked down the stretch?
Adam,
come on.
I know, but you can't be putting this energy out there. They haven't put out the pitching matchups yet. I haven't seen it.
I'm assuming Skubal goes game 2. I think he goes game 2 on regular rest.
I am nervous no matter what. If I see him on Saturday, if I see him on Sunday, doesn't matter. I'm nervous about that. But anyways.
That's why game 1 is key, because if you go down 1-0 and you're facing Skubal in game 2.
I can't do this right now.
What?
I'm so nervous. I can't even tell you how I'm nauseous. I haven't been able to sleep. I'm so nervous. Anyways, just like how we are setting our fantasy lineups.
Yeah, I'm nervous about my teams this week.
We're getting anxiety because we're starting some gross players this week, but that's okay. If you had to look, who's one of your I don't even want to say favorite. Like, let's take favorite flex play out of this and just say, who is one of your probably grossest flex plays that you have to do this week? Because I've got a couple.
I think Michael Carter is one of them.
I don't think that's that bad.
We don't know. I
really don't. I know, but I don't think they're going to.
It could be bad. What if DeMarco's the lead back?
I don't know. He was barely doing anything when we saw him last. I know that's because Trey Benson was there, but I don't know.
That's
that
the
could
thing.
be worse.
That's the other thing. No Arizona running back has been good this year, and we're like, oh yeah, Carter and DeMarcado, so let's go. It's again great matchup. I'm sure I have some others too.
I've got you guys. Let us know too at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis, because I love to see these because we're on the same. I'm starting Torrey Horton. That's pretty. Gross.
I am too. I am too.
I don't
I'm
love
starting
that.
Torrey Horton. It's not ideal.
I am. I know we had a caller call in about this. Do not do this if you can avoid it. I am starting Kendall Miller in one. Because I am so desperate at wide receiver or running back that I'm looking around and he's at least, maybe he might get 2 points and I'm going to be okay with that because the others are close to 0.
I believe I'm starting Kendall Miller in a league. I think I might be starting Ollie Gordon in a league too.
Oh, Ollie Gordon's brutal. You don't have.
Well, he could get a goal. He's been getting some goal line carries, so I just need him to find the end zone.
Hey, this isn't a bad one, but Malik Washington, is he the guy that you think steps up for the Dolphins? Or do you think it will be more Darren Waller in those? That's my big question is who, obviously it's going to be Jalen Waddle.
Washington will play more than Waller. Well, they said Waller will see an increase in snaps. He obviously is dependent on touchdowns, but he's their red zone threat. They don't have big receivers. And you saw last week, he made a nice catch in the back of the end zone. So I do think Malik Washington is in play this week.
I don't hate it. That one's not bad. They could, again, it could be worse. You could be starting some of the players that we just mentioned, but hopefully you don't have to do that. We've got really good games this weekend. Hey, Bills Patriots, you going Bills? Bills at home?
Yeah, I'm hoping the Patriots keep that close. I hope that's a good game.
I do too. We don't have many great games this week, so I'm really hoping that one's good.
Yeah, it's not the best matchups this week.
It's not. Go Mariners, right? Come on.
I'm rooting for the Mariners. Hopefully you guys get it done.
Thank you so much. We'll find out. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Hopefully you have a great, safe weekend. We will be back here same time Monday. Overreaction Monday. Have a great one. We'll see you then.